Ready. So today we will do the uh, analysis of carbohydrates. We will be studying about the reaction properties of glucose and fructose. Glucose contains the functional group aldehyde and fructose contains the functional group ketone. Since carbohydrates are most soluble in water, first we will start our test with the solubility test. Now we take a pinch of sugar and we add water and see whether it is soluble. Carbohydrate is soluble in water. You can see that water is soluble, totally soluble. So carbohydrates are soluble in water. Okay. Now we will do the. So we will dissolve. We have taken sugar, glucose in all the test tubes. So we will add little bit of water to all the test tubes to make the sugar completely dissolved. So this will help in doing all our reactions easily, because all the reactions takes place only in aqueous solution. Now we have added glucose to all the solutions and we have added water to all, and all of them are dissolved in water. Okay. Now we will start with the first test. The first test is, now we will start with the first test. The first test is iodine test. Now we are adding iodine, a little bit of iodine to the glucose solution. Iodine will combine with carbohydrates, especially polysaccharides, to give a deep blue color. Now you can see that glucose is a monosaccharide. When we add iodine to this, it doesn't give a blue color. Therefore, the sugar, we know the sugar already, but just to show that glucose doesn't answer the iodine test, no blue color, so absence of polysaccharides. Okay, so the next test is just to confirm whether the given sample is a carbohydrate or not. This is a Molish reagent we are adding, that is alpha naphthol in alcohol. So when you slowly add Molish test, you can see that you can see the junction. So the junction is very important to watch. So what do you see in the junction? You should see a ring. You can see, I suppose you can see a purple ring or violet colored ring, you can see. So you should not shake the test tube when you do this test, because you won't be able to see the ring. If you get a purple or violet colored ring, it shows the presence of carbohydrate. Okay. So we will do the next test. So next test is to test the presence of reducing sugar. Glucose is an example of reducing sugar. We will do the Fehling's test. So there are two solutions for Fehling's. We have Fehling's A solution and Fehling's B solution. So we are adding both the solutions to the sugar glucose, and we have to heat this in order to see the color change in that. Now this, if you look at the composition of this Fehling's solution, it contains sodium potassium tartarate in the presence of alkali, strong alkali. Now when you add these two and mix, you will get a dark blue color. And now when this is kept for boiling water bath for few minutes, you can see that the sodium potassium tartrate will be reduced to form cuprous and cupric oxide. So now we are keeping this in the boiling water bath for some time. So once it takes few minutes, not more than that. Now in the meantime, we can do the next test. Yeah. Now the color has come. You can see that. You can see immediately, you can see this reddish brown cuprous oxide is getting precipitated from the sodium potassium copper, copper tartarate from that. So instantly you will get this color for glucose. So this shows the presence of reducing sugar. Now the next test is Benedict's test. So we take a little bit of sugar solution, we add the Benedict's reagent. This is also a test for reducing sugar. The difference between Fehling's and Benedict's is Fehling's has got a strong alkaline solution, whereas Benedict's has got a mild alkaline reagent, so that Even a trace amount of glucose that is present can be detected using this test. So when you mix this, you get a light blue color, unlike Fehling's where you had a dark blue color. So now we keep it in the water bath and see whether what the color changes. You can see Fehling's and Benedict's, most of the time it gives you instant change in the color of the solution. So the precipitation of cuprous oxide from these two solution indicates the presence of monosaccharides or reducing monosaccharides. So you can see that a dish brown or dark brown, light brown colored cuprous oxide is getting formed from this. So this test is used for the detection of glucose present in the urine, because in the urine the amount of glucose that is present will be very less. So in order to detect the trace amount of glucose, we do the Benedict's test. The next one is Barford test. So Barford test is done to check whether the given carbohydrate is a monosaccharide or a polysaccharide. So already we have confirmed the given sugar by doing the iodine test, where we didn't get a blue color, deep blue color with iodine. So it is not a polysaccharide. So it can be a disaccharide or a monosaccharide. You can see that after adding Barford, it is similar to the Benedict solution. Now we will heat this in the water bath. So once we heat this in the water bath, it will take a little bit more time when compared to Benedict's and Barford. A minute or two will require extra, and here you will get a precipitate formed on the sides and the bottom of the test tube, so that it confirms the presence of monosaccharide in that. So let's take a minute. So we can see that reddish brown precipitate of cuprous oxide formed along the sides of the tube and at the bottom of the tube. So this shows the presence of monosaccharides. The next test is to check whether the keto group is present in the carbohydrates or not. So we know that we have taken a sugar, glucose, it is an aldehyde group. Therefore this test is called a Selivanov test. Selivanov test is done to check the presence of ketose sugar, ketone group. So ketone is also a reducing sugar. So when you add the Selivanov reagent, the color will change. We'll keep it. Sometimes we need to heat it. So you can see that there is a very light blue in color. Sometimes you may not get color with the reagent directly, depending upon the shelf life of the reagent. Sometimes we will slightly heat it and see. Okay, we'll just keep it in the water bath for some time. Now the last test to check the presence of carbohydrates is to the ozone test. So aldehyde, we have seen the in one of the classes we have seen when we add phenylhydrazine. Hydrazine is NH2 and NH2. If you replace one hydrogen with the phenyl group, we will have phenylhydrazine, that is C6H5NH2. Now we are going to add phenylhydrazine to the glucose solution, and since the glucose contains an aldehyde group, the carbonyl group C double bond O shifts the electron to the O minus, and this phenylhydrazone will be formed in this. So this reaction that we studied, phenylhydrazone, will take place only in acidified solution. So we will slightly acidify the solution using acetic acid. Okay, so we add a little bit of acetic acid to the solution and make it slightly acidic. Reaction is much pronounced and gives good results if you add 5 to 8 drops of acetic acid in the solution. The ideal proportion for this ozone test is you take one spatula sugar and 2 spatula phenylhydrazine and 2 spatula or 4 spatula sodium acetate, and then 5 to 8 drops of glacial acetic acid. You have to mix it, warm it, and then keep it in the water bath. So we have kept it in the water bath. Glucose will take Now we can see the Selivanov test. We have kept it for some time. Since the Selivanov test is answered only by a ketose solution, so there is no change in the color of the reagent that has been added to the glucose solution. So the absence of ketose is present in this sugar solution. So this is not a ketose. Okay, now we can see the colors of each test tubes together. The first test tube is, you can see that this is the iodine test, which shows the absence of polysaccharide, no blue color. Here you can see the Molish test, which the junction you are supposed to get a deep purple or violet color. There is presence of carbohydrates. Then you have the failings, you have the red cuprous oxide formed in this, and then you have the Benedict solution also. You have a mild alkaline solution, red cuprous oxide is formed, and then Barfords, you can see the red precipitate of cuprous in the bottom of the test tube. This is distinctively different from the failings and Benedicts, which forms the entire solution. Here the red cuprous oxide is formed in the bottom of the test tube. And then the last one is the Selivanov test for the keto sugar, which is not answered by the glucose, which is a aldose sugar. Now we will go to the ketose sugar.